Hello, my lovelies.
Welcome to the What's So Great About That podcast, inaugural episode. Is that the right word? Our first episode. Let's not overcomplicate things.
Simple for simple people. I'm Meg.
I'm Grace, and we are going to be talking about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend for our first episode.
Yeah. The idea for this podcast is to talk about something that we think is great and try and convince each other.
Convince everyone.
Just the world.
That we're right.
We're right and it is great.
So for our tentative structure of this episode, we both have kind of a main point that we want to talk about. So the thing that I really want to talk about with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, it's the sort of show that there's so many things. And when I was trying to think about what specifically I wanted to say, I kept thinking of more and more stuff. And then eventually I just had to limit it down to one thing, or this was going to be going on for hours. But the thing that I think is most interesting that I haven't really heard other people talk about is how it's kind of the thing that was specifically referenced in episode 4 of series 3, the episode from last week, with the end of the movie song. So this is really good.
It's my favourite song I think that they've ever done. It's
such a good song. I think it's definitely my favourite song of this series so far. And it's like in my top 10. I would have said like top 5, but then this morning I was going back through all the songs from season 1 and 2. It's like, there's so many good songs. It's impossible to have a top 10 song at all from this show because they're all so good. But this is a good time to start talking about it because that song kind of explicitly said the thing that I wanted to talk about, which is about how you kind of have an idea of where things are going, or at least I did. I had preconceptions about where things were going, particularly in season 1, and then those things didn't happen. And I was kind of thrown for a while. It's like, I thought I knew what was happening here, and this hasn't happened. Now I'm kind of upset. I'm kind of bitter about this. But then having like thought about it afterwards, I was like, this is totally the right direction for this to go in. And I wonder if it was because I had the break between season 1 and 2, and I think a lot of people came in on season 2 and binge watched both together, and maybe those people would have had a different experience. But with the ending of season 1, I thought, especially with the Dream Ghost song, that was like the revelation of the series, and she was going to realise, I don't need men. I've loved musical theatre all along. And that was kind of the arc.
You're fine now.
Yes, yeah. Musical theatre just fixes everything, right?
Always.
And then things were going pretty well with Greg, but then at the end of series 1, she suddenly sleeps with Josh, and I'm like, this does not fit my narrative that I had in my head.
Did not expect. Yeah. No, it completely subverts the narrative that you expect every single time. To the point where it shouldn't still be doing it. But even in the most recent episodes are still full for it. I think it's just so ingrained in our minds from watching like
films and TV shows.
That we really think.
I think like romantic films and comedy TV have very closed narratives. Either because like the film ends, or with comedy you have like long range shows like stuff like Friends, where they kind of always have to keep things the same because it's a very episodic format. And I was in that mindset for this.
Can't be changed too much.
Or like be going off the rails, kind of like this show does.
Yeah, but Crazy Ex-Girlfriend completely throws that out the window.
Yeah.
And it's watching series 1. I remember you showed me the first ever episode. Yeah. You were like, no, you have to watch the series.
I physically made you watch it.
You sat me down and we watched the first episode and she meets Greg, and I remember saying to you like, oh, is this going to be the guy that she should go for? And you were kind of like...
Didn't want to say anything.
And I remember thinking, like, it's so clearly what's going to happen. Why is she being so coy about it? Like, this is so obvious, but no, Meg. That's just 20 plus years of indoctrination from romantic comedies telling me that the darkly witty, sarcastic guy in the corner that she's overlooking is the one that she's meant to be with. And it just
the answer was in front of you the whole time.
I know, and it even in one of the most recent episodes where she tries to phone Greg, and he's not been in it for... like a series,
like a whole series now.
And I really, even though I should be so used to having the rug pulled out from under me, I still fell for it, and I still thought, oh no, they're doing the traditional thing, it's going to be him for a second there, and then nope, they subverted it again in a very big way.
It's like the audience imprints on Greg in the way that Rebecca imprints on Josh, and they're like, no, it has to be Greg, right?
Definitely. I think we see that kind of character a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad that
and I like that we didn't have that revelation about Greg just the once. It kept happening where they broke up, and it was like, this isn't what's gonna happen, and then they kind of got back together again, like, okay, it is what's gonna happen though, right? Because this is it now. It's not gonna happen again. Yeah, it's kind of like almost a series of revelations, as they say in the song. Yeah, it's that Ross and Rachel thing of, oh, well, they won't they? But you know they will. That's not the point. And it's like, well, they won't, and you keep the audience, we keep being like, oh no, they will, they will, and the show is trying to be like, no, they really won't. Like, just stop, let it die. Yeah, I feel like the audience is really on the Greg train still. I'm like, I was never that invested in the Greg Rebecca relationship. I enjoyed their relationship a lot, but it's not the one that I wasn't like shipping it hard. No, I wasn't shipping it hard. I don't feel like they should have been together. I feel like it wouldn't really be fair to either of them ever since the Settle For Me song. Yeah. And I really love that they did that whole arc where he does the like Settle For Me, and he kind of tries to convince her, because I think that's so true to life. Like, I meet people, it really sets up what the relationship is. It's just, they don't start on even ground, and I feel like you can't have it was never going to work relationship if you don't start off on even footing. From a healthy standpoint, which this wasn't for either of them. It was never going to be healthy. If it's not fair to him, I don't think, to put himself down in that way. And he even says in the first episode, like, oh, I like her because you're ignoring me, so clearly you're my type. Like, he clearly has issues. Yeah, like from episode 1 to her. So I think it was never destined to be together. No, they're really, really playing with that trope. Even now, even though when he hadn't been in the show for like they still dangled it again. They were like, oh, maybe. Oh. No, I'm glad they didn't drag Paul Greg back into it. Yeah, I feel like he shouldn't come back on the show. His stuff is finished. He dealt with his issues. He's like, how you should do it, Rebecca. And she's go to Emory. Yeah. And I've just looking back at my notes, I wrote down the quote from the end of the movie song that if you saw a movie that was like real life, you'd be like, what the hell was that movie about? It was really all over the place, which is my favourite part of the song. I love that. And I feel like that's also kind of what I think when watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, like, well, this is really all over the place. Yeah. But in like a meaningful fashion. There's no like classic episode. Yeah. You can't be like, we're going to sit down and watch this now. Like, the most recent episode was it's all over the place. Not that funny. I liked it, but it was really dark. Yeah, this week's episode was like really depressing. And then the one before that, it was kind of had this kind of weird tension the whole way through, because Rebecca was like trying like a thriller, and it's like each one is pastiching something different and going for something slightly different. And then you've got the songs coming in, which tonally they manage really well, especially in like this week's episode 5 of series 3, that it's overall a very dark and serious episode, but the songs are like really upbeat. Yeah, I absolutely love what was it called? The one about her mum. The first one. She's not really such a heinous bitch or something. Some heinous bitch. Heinous. That's not a word. I'm just making up words. I'm just making up words. No, I love that one. Also, there was nothing on TV last night, so I was drinking wine, eating chocolate, and watching Dirty Dancing in my pajamas. And so when that song came on, I was immediately really feeling it. Yeah. I love recognising what it's. Yeah, what it's specifically parodying. Yeah, what it's parodying. So it was that really kind of 1960s, like, Be My Baby type. I feel like I often miss specific song parodies. I feel like it's parodying a genre, and then like people have pointed out, like, Feeling Kind of Naughty is Katy Perry, and I didn't get that until someone said, like, oh, it totally is. I'm the opposite though, where I get it and then I feel really smug that I get it, even though it should be really obvious. Like well, I don't get them a lot of the time. I don't know enough music genres. I'm not great, but I will say I'm better than you. I feel like I live more in the world. Yeah. You're a genius recluse. I'm a corporate sellout, so I do have some knowledge of popular culture. What was it called? Let's Have Intercourse. Yeah, I absolutely. Yeah, I think someone said that's Ed Sheeran. It's Ed Sheeran. I've never heard an Ed Sheeran song. After the podcast, you can watch the video of Ed Sheeran, and you'll see it's so on the nose. And it's just hilarious because that's supposed to be such a gorgeous romantic song with a beautiful video. I feel like I'm missing out on half of the joke. Dancing with this woman, and I was dying. It was the funniest thing to me, because I think, in a way, that's so kind of true, in that, well, you don't have these wonderful romantic moments when guys try to sleep with you. It's more likely to be this kind of awkward conversation where some douchebag is like, oh, come on, we know well. Why not?
I want to know what your nipples look like, or whatever it is he says.
Yeah. I think it's why I love the Ping Pong Girls song so much.
Oh,
because that was the sort of music I listened to in like my early teens.
Yeah,
it was
I
all
was
like
there with you, yeah.
Blink-182 and Simple Plan. It's like, this is exactly that. And I think there was Bowling for Soup had like kind of a parody song called The Girl All the Bad Guys Want.
Yes.
And it's like, this is exactly that.
That was my first ever concert. I went with you to see Bowling for Soup.
Oh, those are the days.
Her name is Nona. She's a rapper with a nose ring. Yeah. Oh, it's such a good song. But no, again, like watching that Ping Pong Girl song, I was just like, I'm not even laughing. I'm just kind of watching it in all like, you've got it.
Yeah, this is exactly it.
On the appeal of that kind of song and what it's trying to say and how stupid that is at the same time. This idea of this woman who is kind of in control of herself and she doesn't care what you think, and that's what makes her sexy. The whole point of it is she's really attractive and everybody wants her, but she doesn't care. No.
I'm trying to get back on track with my notes. I think I'm nearly at the end. I just wrote down the situation's a lot more nuanced than that. That should just be the tagline of the whole show.
Yeah. It's and I love that about the which season was it? Was season 1, right? With the intro where it was like
when that line was in the intro
girlfriend. Yeah, that's
season 1. Yeah,
sexist term.
She's crazy ex-girlfriend.
And I think they've almost kind of shot themselves in the foot with that title, because I try and recommend people to watch it, and I say, watch this great show called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and they say, oh, that sounds kind of mean and like
no, it's like literally the most feminist show that's ever been made.
I try and explain it,
but it's the perfect title for it. But you need to watch the show to get that. It's like,
and I love I had a friend who I tried to convince to watch it, and she was texting me as she watched it, and she was like, I said to her, this is the most like feminist show you'll ever watch, and she was watching it like, what is she doing? Like, I don't get it. Like, this is a bad decision. Why has she quit her job and moved? That's terrible. And I'm like, no, that's the point. And she was like, okay, I've just seen her throw all her medication down the sink, so I feel like I get it. I'm getting it more now. That's just the point. Is she's a human disaster? And I was like, yes. Yeah. That's you're watching it like, oh no. So
yeah. I think that's basically my point. I just wanted to talk about Dream Ghosts again. I just written down names of songs. Like, I really love Dream Ghosts. It's such a good song.
Good. I still listen to that one. Quite I listen to most
it comes into my head so frequently. I'm just like going about my day and I'm like, Dream Ghosts.
Yeah, there's so many.
I sing it out loud.
Whenever they pastiche something, they get it.
Yeah.
They really hone in on what it is about that thing. And that's such a kind of oddly specific. Like, it's not that universal, that trope of the Dream Ghost, but they really completely nail it.
And like, I love the line that's about, let's keep it vague. It's more interesting that way.
Yeah.
Because that happens so often. And I'm like, is it interesting? No. It's just a cop-out. Thank you for bringing it up, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
It won't be clear if you're hallucinating or
if we're actually magic.
And that's so what it is. When you see that in
telling you things you kind of already knew. But that line relates to the point that I was going to make about the song in terms of like the series of revelations that is life. That it is telling you stuff you sort of already knew. And then when you know it, you're like... Which is why I thought this was going to be the conclusion of season 1. Because it's like, well, she knows that she knows it now. It's like the realisation. Admitting you have a problem is the first step. But then there's acting on that realisation and then going, oh, that action was a bad action. Let's regress back to when I didn't know this at all.
Yeah, it's just
and start again.
If you drew a graph of
go back into denial.
It would just, if you drew a graph of her progress, it wouldn't be a line. It would be like you'd given a 3-year-old a crayon and they just like all over the page.
Or you try to communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
So your point was about the narrative and how...
Yes. To bring it back on our many song tangents. Yeah. I felt I knew what was happening with season 1 and I was completely wrong. And it kind of soured me on the show for a while. And it wasn't until I went back and watched the songs again, I was like, oh no, this really was good. It was just my expectations not being met. And I was upset about it.
I love that though, because I think...
I love it now.
We have it so much, and it's so stupid to compare Crazy Ex-Girlfriend to Game of Thrones, but so many people said that about Game of Thrones, like, oh, you just don't know what's going to happen. Anyone really could die. Yeah. It's like with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, anything really could happen. You can't watch it and say, these people are going.
Because now again, I feel like I know where it's going, but I probably don't. We according to like Rachel Bloom and Eileen Brosh McKenna, we should have another series. Like they've planned a 4-season arc, which I hope they do get, because I don't think they're good. If they're still talking about that, they're obviously not wrapping up this series. So I hope they get the 4th series, because then that would be their whole plan come to fruition.
That's another thing. Now we have a new series airing. I'm realising your point more, that you can't predict the narrative and how unusual it is, because I'm so used now to binge watching the old series that now I'm actually having new content. I'm really wrong-footed. I'm like, oh wait, no, I don't know. Oh, how did that happen? Whereas even though the stuff,
which I feel like is why it might not happen if you watch series 1 and 2 together. Because I think I was like in the mini-series mindset. I think just because I watch a lot of mini-series that I thought it would just be the one series and that would be it. And then it was like very obviously a cliffhanger at the end. It's like, oh, there's going to be another series. I'm used to British TV. You just have one series and it's done.
You have like
6
three episodes a decade if you're lucky.
And like most series, they only have 6 episodes.
I think that subverts it in and of itself. Because if you think about the end,
like
of series
in between
1,
film and TV.
That kind of goes into what you're saying anyway. That the narrative isn't what we expect. The fact that we even got a second series. Because if you think series 1 ends, they go to the big wedding, the big event. Everyone's dressed up.
I was thinking like this was going to be.
And she
an
finally
ending.
Ends up with Josh, and they go and there's this really romantic scene where and this beautiful song is playing, and they go and have sex. And I think that any other movie or TV show, you'd be like, oh, and that's a wrap. And then they just like, no, let's just keep filming and see what a bad decision this was and how everything is
let's keep going.
It seems.
And it's like how much she's really imprinted on Josh, like all her happiness has been injected into this other person. That's still she can't get over, and like you think she's got over it, but she hasn't. It's like going back to that one thing that she thought would make her happy, and that even when she's like, oh no, I guess Greg will make me happy. No, as soon as that doesn't happen, we're back to Josh.
She's such a tragic character, because you get annoyed at her because you're like, oh, what are you talking about? Of course, your happiness isn't fixed on this one other person. You have to look within yourself. You have to. But I mean, who are we to sit there and say that? Like I was so guilty of doing all the things that she does. And I think that's the kind of beauty of it, is you watch it and it's the same like you have a friend who keeps going back to her ex-boyfriend who's really rubbish and doesn't do her well. You're kind of going, this is so stupid. But then I don't know, I feel like everyone can be just as guilty of it. It's easy when you look at someone else to say, what are you doing? That's a bad idea. It's like very hard to recognise it in yourself. Or even you do recognise it and you just...
like I think Rebecca recognises it. Like the Dream Ghost song. But there's recognising it and then there's actually following through consistently with what you've realised.
It's the song the boy band made up of 4 Joshes, where it really taps into what is it about him, and you he just symbolises all happiness and mental health and everything will go away. And Rebecca's reprise as well, I think, at the end of series 2. Really shows that she really feels like she's going to have this wedding and then her life will be
never have problems again.
Never have problems again. Exactly. Another great song. Oh, gosh.
But that's essentially my point, I think. Probably. We went off on a lot of song tangents.
It's the hardest to predict show I think I've ever watched. And so it's always, even though you should be expecting to be surprised, so it shouldn't surprise you, it can still totally bluff you and surprise you.
And like every time I'm worried about this decision, but I'm finally learning to just trust the writers, that they know what they're doing. It's okay that she slept with Josh at the end of series 1, because it was a serious plot point that they then deconstructed and led to a much better show than had it been what I was thinking. That's musical theatre. That's Glee. I think I've never watched Glee. It might not be Glee at all.
I've seen the odd bit of Glee. I think that basically is
in my head, that's what Glee is.
Also, can I just say about the songs, as a musical theatre fangirl, I love that they have reprisals. That's my favourite. That's so satisfying. I think it's such a dorky thing when I'm watching, even if they don't have a proper reprisal, you just hear a few bars of something. I think they had
there was one in today's episode that was it was the song they sang about Nathaniel. I've forgotten what it's called, about a new character that we're going to have to care about.
I didn't even spot that.
When they introduced I've forgotten her name, the new woman,
the new lawyer.
her name began with a C. Yes, her.
Cordelia or Cornelia or something like that.
Something like that. We should have been more prepared. I should have got the wiki up for this episode. That they played like an instrumental version of that song.
I was thinking, I think it was an episode or two ago, they had Nathaniel realizing he has feelings for Rebecca, and they had I think just the tiniest hint of the oh my god, I think I like you.
Yeah. And apparently in the carnival music from last week's episode, it was I Give Good Parent, which I have listened to it again. I still can't hear it.
There's so many levels of detail as well that make this such a great show. Like, I only recently found out, apparently, Rebecca's nail varnish is like a...
Yeah, it's like a code.
Code for her mental well-being, which I think is really interesting. I relate to that a lot. Yeah, if my nails don't look good, everything's falling apart. I'll go and get a manicure to be like...
Now my life is together.
My nails look fine, so I can trick everyone into thinking my life is together.
So your point.
Okay.
Second
so
segment,
point was about
Meg's point.
Subverting expected narratives. My stuff was about... Basically, my overarching point, as you said, there's so much stuff, was just about how relatable this show is. And there's kind of different things you could talk about. You could talk about the story, which we kind of have done, the characters and the songs, which we've delved into bits of it. But Rebecca is just such a kind of universal heroine. I feel like everyone is Rebecca, which sounds mad because you watch it and she is ridiculous. And the things that she does, some of they're so off the edge of the map. Like, Here There Be Dragons. And you can still watch it and be like, no, that's me. I've done that. Oh yeah, that. I've definitely been in
I've sent those poop cupcakes.
Even if you haven't sent the poop cupcakes, you've had the impulse.
I really hope no one sent the poop cupcakes.
I hope not.
Even on the show, I was like, no, it's too far.
That's horrible.
I feel like it saved it that they didn't actually get delivered.
Yeah, we've all had the impulse to send the cupcakes. And she's just the worst aspects of everyone. Yeah. It's just up to 11. Yeah. So I always think of the song Research Me Obsessively. Yeah. Which I'm so guilty of. I won't let myself stalk people. Like, if I meet someone all the time and I like them, I have to ban myself because I will just do that and then I'll know everything and then I'll be chatting to them and be like, when
you have to disguise the fact that I know when your birthday is.
When you studied history in Cardiff, I know that you majored in this and and like I just come across like a complete psycho. So I have to that's such an impulse that's there, and so many good tips. That's when I knew I had a problem, when I listened to it. And the thing about find out when they went to high school, find someone who went to the high school, set up a fake Instagram account using the name of that person so that then you can have access to their private Instagram account. And I was like, that's genius. And then I had to take a step back and say, no,
this isn't an instructional video.
This is what not to do.
Oh, I do that because I don't do it with people that I'm gonna meet. So I think I don't have the same kind of accountability that you might experience. I find artists that I really like, and I know everything about, or comedians. Those are the people that I like obsessively fan over, is artists and comedians.
I even kind of have this weird thing.
I know when they're born. I know where they grew up and what school they went to.
To do it with like comedians and people who, people that I fangirl over. Yeah. Like, I had a thing with Noel Fielding recently where I had a couple of... I've loved him forever, but I had a couple of weeks where I was just suddenly... And this week, I mostly will be being obsessed with Noel Fielding. And I was researching, and I kind of stopped myself, because I was like, what if you meet him? He's not going to marry you if you turn out to be really creepy, and you've researched, like, where he went to high school.
This is the long game.
Studied at art college and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, how fucked up is that in my head that I've decided... It just doesn't make any sense that I've gone, well, the crazy stalker in me wants to research this stuff about you, but I just know in terms of life, that person is not going to be a person that
you're like undoing your own fantasy.
So I'm going to undo it. And it's so twisted, and I absolutely see it. And
I hadn't even thought about the logistics of doing it in like a relationship way. I was just thinking about all the artists whose Instagrams I stalk.
And I absolutely feel like Rebecca gets me. Like, that level of overthinking.
I stalk
things.
Rachel Bloom to a certain extent. There is no interview that I have not read or listened to. I follow her on Twitter, Instagram. It's a problem. I hadn't even thought about it on like a personal level.
Yeah, that's my worry. Is I always really want to do it to people in real life, and then I'm scared to because I'll let something.
Sometimes
slip.
I just look up. Like something will come on Facebook with like somebody that I knew at school that I hadn't, like I just completely forgotten they existed, and then I'll go down a stalk rabbit hole on their like Facebook page, which they haven't made private because for some reason people you knew at high school never make their Facebook pages private. I'm just there like, wow, this is your life now.
So yeah, my whole point is just about how incredibly relatable it is and how much it calls you out. So Research Me Excessively, we've gone off a whole tangent about that. Yeah. Many of the songs, obviously the Sexy Getting Ready song, everyone can relate to that.
There's a lot of songs about heavy boobs. Is relatable for us heavy boobed women.
And I'm so glad. I kind of liked about that song is that it didn't even really fit with the narrative. It was just. I think
they said in a interview at one point that they basically just shoehorned it in. They had this idea. They're like, we'll find somewhere to put it.
It feels like Rachel Bloom was just like, I really want to talk about how hard it is having heavy boobs, so I'm going to slot this song in, which in itself is relatable. Yes. That's what it's like when you have it. You're like, this is so annoying, and I feel like nobody understands, and I want to mention it.
Everyone thinks it's a good thing. Like, how could it not be a good thing? It's like, no, it's always a bad thing. I was trying to buy a shirt yesterday, and I just gave up because like, there's not even any point because it's not going to fit. It's
dresses is hard.
It's like one of my measurements is always 2 sizes bigger than the rest of my body.
Yeah. I have to let things out, and then like you put on a little bit of weight, and it all goes to the boobs, and then you're just nothing will go on. And it's like I went on the pill for a while as well, and they just got bigger, and then I came off the pill.
Really, I was on the pill for like years. I only came off a few months ago. Maybe that's why
they got bigger, and then I came off it, and they didn't get smaller, and then I was off it for a few months, and I went back on it. They got bigger again. So I just need to remain on no birth control for the rest of my life because they'll just continue to grow.
Hitting people in the eye.
Yeah, I do that all the time, and I'm so conscious of them. I either look too sexual, I feel, or I make myself frumpy. Yeah, by just covering it in a big jumper or something. Like there's no in between, and people don't elbow me in the boob. I boob them in the elbow all the time. I'm just so aware of them. And like they feel mortified, and I don't mind the fact that they've touched my breast.
Like, this is just a daily occurrence.
They feel really embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for them, and it's just I have to apologise. And then because I've mentioned it, I've then made it more awkward, and I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry. I just got you with my boob, and it's fine. Just let's move on, please.
Yeah, trying to get ahead of the awkwardness, you just make it more awkward. Yeah, so many relatable songs. It's weird that. Like Rebecca as a character is so relatable and yet so specific at the same time. Because I feel like, because I don't really relate to anything to do with relationships, because that's just not who I am as a person. As an asexual person, don't really relate to any of the relationship or sex stuff at all. And yet I relate to those feelings just about other things.
I definitely get what you mean, yeah.
And definitely the whole, I just happen to be here thing, that I never want to admit that I've planned an interaction.
Oh, I'm so bad at that. I'm so bad at that.
I never want to admit that, like, hey, I want to spend time with you as a person, but you probably hate me because I have all this internal anxiety.
People in my office I want to be friends with. I'm like, oh, you're in that meeting, you're going to come out now, so I'm going to move my chair like this, and I move my legs here and just kind of sit like, just so... and have this, and I'll have my drink, and then when you walk past, I'm going to say something about that meeting. I'm going to make a conversation,
and it's going to be so witty
about the drink that's in my hand, and it will seem natural because I'm holding it, but I've just got to get it so I have it so that when you come past we can talk about it because I want to know.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a whole life worth of so weird, right?
Oh, this show makes me do that noise a lot.
I know. But it was really this show that made me think, hey, it's not just me.
Yeah.
And that it's a lot of people. Like, now I feel like it's more normal to be like this than to be a normal person.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't Rachel Bloom make people shout that at her live shows, "You are not alone"? And I think that could be also another name for the show.
Yes.
It's just...
You are not alone.
It's just a series of watching things and going... I'm like that.
Yeah.
But I've not, uprooted my life to move across the country.
I also like that I know I'm an adult. I still tell myself I'm not. But they're like more adulty than I am.
And they're messing up even worse.
Yes.
So I'm okay.
And I feel like it means I don't have to have my life sorted out, even by the time I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
Because, like, Paula doesn't even have a life sorted out.
Yeah, and Paula's like the most adulty adult.
Yeah, he's the most adulty adult on the show.
But that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about not just Rebecca, but all the characters.
Yeah, all the other characters.
And how relatable they are. Because at first glance, they are all archetypes that we see in romantic movies and like comedy television.
Yeah.
But they are all kind of broken down and deconstructed, and we see them for what they are, and what they are is
to the point that I don't even think of them as being archetypes anymore. Yeah. And it wasn't until you said that I was like, oh yeah, there's totally like there's like the unattainable love interest. Yeah. The kind of guy next door, obvious person girl. You should go with. Yeah, the popular girl. That's mom.
Valencia. Yeah, Valencia's like the hot, basically bitch that you see in every kind of teen movie. Yeah. The Regina George.
Yes.
Paula's like the lovely, sweet mother who's just trying her best and is kind of beaten down. And we've got Daryl, who's the kind of goofy boss character. Yeah. That in any other show he would have no plot line of his own. He's always kind of Gunther character, you'd think. Like he'd just come in and he'd say something a bit funny and oh, Daryl's just weird, and he'd leave.
He's just weird and quirky.
We know lots about Daryl's inner life and his struggles, and he is a real three-dimensional person. Yeah.
And then like the cool best friend is Heather.
And
with the one-liners.
Very insecure.
Yes. And Valencia's, I feel like, has been completely worked out now. Even in series 1, they just like completely recontextualized everything. Like the Villain in Mind Story is another of my favourite songs. Yeah. Because you really buy into that whole like bitchy girl thing. Yeah. Until you see it from the other side. It's like, oh yeah, Rebecca was like straight up trying to steal her boyfriend.
Yeah, the kind of angel.
Like all of her anxiety was completely justified. Rebecca did want to steal her boyfriend.
Yeah, it was like we had to be like, oh, we love Rebecca, we hate Valencia. Yeah. And then we kind of saw that song and went, oh, well, actually, maybe like well, Valencia's the princess and Rebecca's the evil witch trying to steal her boyfriend. And then we're like the bitch in the corner of the poster, and then it's like, oh, wait, maybe they're not neither of them are neither of these things, and they're both just people. Because
some of the stuff Valencia did was still like straight up really bad.
Yeah, exactly. They both.
She's not entirely absorbed of guilt, but it's definitely much more understandable.
Yeah, and I like that she's not just a bitch. She's a person who is just trying her best and who struggles to relate to other people, and like she tries to work on it. She's like, oh, I've been working on my humour or whatever. She doesn't understand jokes.
Improvised comedy. Because it's like it's relatable and not at the expense of anybody. Like usually relatable characters like Rebecca are like the person who was bullied at school. Usually, particularly for like high school comedies, it's the main character is always the person who's bullied, who's like lusting after some like baseball player or whatever. Yeah. And then it's the jocks, the French jocks, the jocks. And like the cheerleaders who are really demonized, but like those are some people. Yeah, some people are cheerleaders.
Those, they're, I mean, no one that I know, but they're people that exist.
We don't really have cheerleaders in this country, feelings. But
cheerleaders have feelings too, guys.
Yeah,
and I like, but again, going back to Greg, I like that he's kind of archetype of the kind of. I'm trying to think of specific examples of what he reminds me of, kind of like Ben from Parks and Recreation. Yeah. Or
but more cynical,
or like 27 Dresses, like James Marsden and 27 Dresses.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, like with the pop music, I haven't seen many romantic comedies. Once again, I'm left out of any specific references.
So
the only ones I've seen are the ones you made me watch.
It's the same, yeah, probably that sounds about right. It's just again, it's the idea of the character starts off in love with this guy, and yet she has this other option who kind of has dark hair and he's funny and he's kind of mean to her, and they kind of banter, and he kind of teases her and is kind of witty and sarcastic, and at the end she realises that's who she should be with. And I really like that they really looked into him and they went, well, why is he like that, and why is he working in this bar, and why is he so dark and kind of, and actually no, he's not okay, and he's an alcoholic, and he feels like he's wasted all his potential.
He's afraid of trying anything. Yeah, he feels like he's wasted his potential, but also is too afraid to try and reach his potential.
Exactly. So yeah, that was my main point, was just how relatable everybody is, and it's kind of like the hero of 1,000 faces, like every single character. And that's another thing I'll say, is that I love the friendships in the show as much as it is about obviously the romantic relationship. I remember being so happy when I was with you and I watched the first episode that she ends the episode friends with Paula. I was like, that's great. Women being friends, gals being pals. This is great. And I love that her and Valencia became friends. And I love the little girl group that we've got now.
Yeah, now that everyone is friends.
Paula, Valencia, Rebecca,
and Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt I'm definitely more invested in the friendships than I ever was in the romantic relationships, which I feel like that's just me. It's why I haven't watched romantic comedies.
I think you're right.
It's like, I don't care.
That's kind of the point. It's like, well, that is the constant.
Yeah, I'm always so upset whenever Paula and Rebecca are fighting.
That was really tough. I found it so tough when she was attacking her friends.
Yes.
In the last episode. Or the episode before that. I don't even remember which one.
But I think I found it harder the episode before that, where she like tore down Paula's like lawsuit idea with lies. It wasn't very good. And she knew that was Paula's insecurity. Like, that's what Paula, her whole deal is being insecure. I think that's like the thing that made me the most uncomfortable in this whole show.
Yeah, it was
that
really
point.
Like, Rebecca, no. Like,
yes. Rebecca, no is like the whole show.
Like tearing down her best friend, using her insecurity against her.
And it was unfounded as well. Like, I felt like when she was attacking everyone, it was mean. A lot of it was true. I'd say like Valencia's wasn't really true. Unless I just hadn't thought of it in that context, maybe. I don't think Valencia's was true.
I think we don't know.
You could read it that way.
She needs more focus. I think we don't know enough about her inner life at the moment.
It's always so hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should talk about which song personally makes you feel the most called out. This was the question that we both independently decided we wanted to ask. Yeah, so I mean, which song makes you go, I came out to have a good time and I'm feeling
I'm feeling so personally attacked right
now by this song. This is too real. I can't even. Couldn't even.
Couldn't. So I have 3 songs, because I went through like all the songs this morning in preparation. This was the preparation I did. I didn't find out what characters' names were, but I did look at all the songs again. I have a song binge. I whittled it down to 3. 2 main ones, and then 1 little one at the end. But my first one is a song that we both really like, which is "You Stupid Bitch."
That's my anthem. Yeah, that's my shower song now. I sing it in the shower.
Yeah, because it's exactly how I feel so often.
It's just it's such a good song as well. Like,
such a perfect self-hate song.
Funny, and it's just fun to sing. But, it's so true. And I listened to the commentary of it, I think, where she described what they were going for with it, which was this Bernadette Peters thing. And I just like, yes, like, I love Bernadette Peters. I'm such a, like, drama queen and will listen to her. And I love the whole kind of way she delivers it. And she's wearing the, like, sparkly gown. And she's this kind of Broadway, self-indulgent. Yeah. I'm going to sing now about how
it's so self-indulgent.
Messed up my life. Yeah. I'm so guilty of that. Like, I have a spot where I sit in my room with my back to the radiator so that I'm warm, and I sit and think about what you've done.
Sit and be pensive. Yeah. You did this. What did you think was going to happen?
I think everybody needs that every now and then, when you sit, whether you're listening to Joni Mitchell or whatever it is you're doing.
Oh. So and that it's being sung to an audience. Yeah. And like everyone's singing along.
Like, I think that's what you want. You know this one. You want solidarity and you want people to be kind of validating you.
And that it's like a singer's classic song because it happens so often. Yeah. And yet it keeps happening.
You have a sort of like, you know the words of this one. Come on, let's go.
This is the one everyone was waiting for.
Yeah, and I just little things about it. Like, I love I knew some weight.
Yes.
That's just like...
Yeah, like her weight has been a running insecurity throughout the whole show. That's never really directly addressed. It's just always there.
And like,
in
the
background.
A lot of women relate to that because patriarchy. But again, I remember first time listening to it and just going,
It's like you're mad at yourself about one thing, and then let's just throw in like these other things that you're usually upset about as well.
I think that's such a woman thing as well. To go through and be like, I'm shit because of this reason and this reason and this reason, and I'm fat.
And I'm fat.
that's definitely what goes through. It's like one of the greatest hits of Why I Hate Myself. Yeah. And it's such a, I mean, it really gives meaning to the words pity party. Yeah. That's what it is. Like, she's in a gown and there's a spotlight and there's an audience.
But it does kind of make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, it definitely does. I think have a shower and belt out You Stupid Bitch and you'll feel a lot better about your life. It's good to get it every out time. There. I think maybe not quite as often as Rebecca seems to. But definitely, it's warranted.
Even though I'm here singing this song
every night.
A lot.
So should I do a song?
You want to do a song? Then I'll do my other
song. Makes me feel personally called out.
Yeah.
It's a very similar vein, but Sexy French Depression.
Yeah.
And it's similar thing again, where it's this kind of wallowing in your own sadness and getting really into it and really self-indulgent pity party thing. But for me, it's also thinking about how I look when I'm doing it. And it's this specific thing. It's like the male gaze type of thing. And there's a more specific word for it that I can't think of. I'm really frustrated. I should have looked it up and written it down. But it's this
once again, we're unprepared.
Like when you see a movie and a woman is showering in a film and she's doing it like in this really sexy way and she's flicking her hair and like she's being watched. It's this idea that comes hand in hand with depression, I think, where we're kind of taught through the media again that when women being depressed, it's this kind of sexy romantic thing and it's so kind of sensual. And so
that romanticize depression.
Romanticize it. So when I'm feeling really down about something, I will kind of go into that headspace and I'll be like, well, I'm gonna do this with my hair so it's like the perfect kind of messy bun of depression and I'm gonna wear this like jumper that's really kind of loose and I feel like it really kind of flatters me and I'm gonna use these bed sheets because they're a really nice colour, you know, in order to wallow in and not wash for 2 days. This is how I'm going to do it. The mise en scène
of my depression.
I need it's hashtag aesthetic is what I'm going for. But I relate to that song so much and the way you kind of wallow in your sadness, but you're so self-aware when you're doing it and you're like, oh God, I'm just going to drink this coffee looking out the window and it's raining and I'm so sad. I wish someone was here to see how tragic and sad I look.
Yeah. I think it's like a way of legitimizing wallowing in depression.
Yeah, it's like, at least I look good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so specific with I buy books about John Wayne Gacy online.
Yes.
I look through old instant messenger conversations with my college boyfriend, which like obviously I don't have a college boyfriend, but stuff like it's very similar things. I'll go through old Facebook messenger conversations with people from months and months ago that have nothing to do with anything. Just be like, oh, I remember when that happened.
Yes. Good times. Yeah, I feel like that's one of the parodies that I do actually get because like at least foreign films is one of my things. Yeah. Like I'm on board with this.
It's a niche.
I don't watch too many French films. I watch a lot of like 60s to 80s Italian cinema. Very similar.
Yeah, very similar aesthetic.
Yeah,
definitely. Again, it's like the Hollywood idea of what depression is.
Yeah, and
that's the joke. It's that juxtaposed with the I'm blacking out from dessert wine. Chocolate
that it's like some kind of high intellectual art to be depressed.
Yeah,
but really you're just not showering.
You're not showering
and not getting out of bed.
Yeah, and you're eating shit.
Going through Instagram from 3 years ago.
Yeah,
with my depression.
I think that's a universal experience, and I think that's what they've kind of captured there.
Yeah. Was that what you had on that song? I have. Then the third one that we're talking about now. It's like they're all in a similar vein. I feel like we have a problem. But my other song, which was similar to the You Stupid Bitch one, was Tell Me I'm Okay, Patrick.
That's a really good choice. I'd kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah. It's one that I do forget about sometimes. I'd say it's possibly my favourite song of series 2. But then I often say that about songs and then I remember other songs. I'm like, oh no, I really do like those other songs. But I really related to like what I was saying about feeling, other people feel like this too.
Yeah.
That everybody feels like other people have got a manual on how to be normal.
Yes.
And it's just me. Like, I know it's in your truck, Patrick.
Give it to me. Yeah. Definitely. And trying to validate yourself with
it's like, just tell me I'm okay. Just say it.
Absolutely. Like, talking to someone, I need to talk about my problems. Right? I'm going to pick this person and I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to deliberately lead the conversation so I can get them to say the words you're okay, or whatever it might be in that individual circumstance. You're really trying to be validated.
I just talk to myself. It's me. I sing the song to myself.
This is fine. This is fine.
This is fine. Everything's on fire. This is fine.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
I really related to that song. Yeah.
Everyone relates to that. Okay, my third was a recent one, the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think perhaps people have gathered from this podcast so far, but you certainly know we've been friends for, my God, like 10 years.
A long time.
Now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
since we were in primary school. Since we were about 10. I think whenever you moved here.
Whenever I moved here.
Whenever you moved into our life.
Like Rebecca.
Yes. I just happened to be here.
Changed everything. We've been friends 10 plus years now. And I speak in film and TV, in pop culture references. And I'm constantly, and I kind of thinking about my preparation for this podcast, I had this idea a week ago. And then I thought, or a few days ago anyway, and then I thought, okay, and then I found myself noticing that I just talk about movies and TV all the time, like multiple times, like 5 times a day. I'll be talking to someone at work and they'll say, and it was just something stupid about like puddles, and they were like, what, I hate when a bus goes past and it goes in a puddle and you get covered in muddy water. And I was like, yeah, that happened to me once. It was like, that bit in Bridget Jones where she's getting ready to go for the date and then the bus comes past and she's covered in the water in the puddle, and like, I don't need to say that. I can just say, yes, that's happened to me before. But literally everything I talk about comes with a lens of this movie. I'm constantly relating my life to things. And I found I do it as well with within my friendship groups. Like, I'll watch a movie with my friend, and I'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm Phoebe and you're Rachel, or I feel like, I'm Frenchie and you're Rizzo, and our other friend is Sandy. Like, it's ridiculous, and I'm only just realising how much I do it. I just completely see my life through this tunnel vision of media I've consumed. I have no original personality. I have to understand something, I have to be able to relate to it through some kind of movie I've watched or something like that. And I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, but the song the end of the movie,
I can't see how it's like exactly a bad thing. But I don't know if it's a good thing.
It made me feel
it's a bad thing.
Just so called out, because I'm constantly everything about my life, I'm kind of thinking of it in this kind of, like I'm in a movie,
like a film,
and like, oh, I'm the heroine, and this is going to happen, and it's going to be just like this, where I'm going to go to this party, and this is going to happen, and there's going to be a plot twist, and I'm going to fall over, and just trying to make everything okay by being like, well, it's fine because I'm
the main character,
or like, what's Kate Hudson? That's on the Rebecca things. I'm Kate Hudson. Yeah, it's going to be like that, and obviously it never is. But that seems to just be how I deal with life. Like when something bad happens to me, I'll be like, oh, this person doesn't like me back. It's okay. I'm just Kristen Scott Thomas in For Weddings and Funerals. Yeah. Or, oh gosh, I don't know. Just anything. I'll find something. I'll find some kind of media to put over it. Yeah. And
it'd be like, well, it worked out in this.
Yeah, it's like a pretty band-aid. Band-aid? I'm not American. Plaster. Like, there we go. It's fine because it's like this, and that's, a beautiful aesthetic movie. So it's fine that this is happening to me.
Is that what you have to say on that
song? I think that's what
I
have to say. I mean, clearly it's a big issue for me.
We've talked about this song twice now. It's the big song. My third one, because we were both incapable of apparently picking one song. We both have 3 songs. But mine's now more of a little thing, which is the I Go to a Zoo song that Nathaniel sings a few episodes ago, which I wasn't really crazy about the song when I first heard it. I thought, oh yeah, that was a cool song. And it wasn't until I listened to several specifically Crazy Ex-Girlfriend podcasts, because that's how obsessed I am with the show. And on the many podcasts that I listened to, everyone was really like raving about the song. I was like, well, I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was that great. Until like literally a few days ago, when I was thinking, I think I was thinking about BoJack Horseman, as I am prone to do. It's one of the shows I regularly think about, like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. At the moment, those are the 2 shows that consume me. And about destructive coping mechanisms, like drinking or doing drugs or smoking or sex or like going to bars or clubbing. Clubbing not necessarily. Clubbing only because it leads to the other things.
Yeah.
and that's always what songs are about, and that's not what I do. And I have like the weird nerdy equivalent. And I was like, why aren't there songs about like going to a museum? And I was like, oh my god, I go to the zoo. And I do go to the zoo.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
It's like, how did I not realise this song was me when I first heard it? Because it even has like the club analogy. And
he's
like,
in the club and it's not working.
Yeah,
so he goes
to the zoo.
I love it as well because it really just throws you for a loop when you listen to it.
Yeah.
Again, it's subverting what you expect.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, he's like a rich playboy guy and he's going to sing about how he's going to go to the club and have sex with loads of women. And he's like, no, I go to the zoo. And I'm like, that's so pure.
Yes.
And it's so wholesome and absolutely.
Yeah.
I've decided tomorrow I'm going to go into town and I'm going to go and see an art movie by myself to try and deal with life's problems and feel better that that's not so
I binge watch TV, I watch films, I go for walks, I go to museums and go to the zoo.
And I like it as well because I really love what they've done with his character. Again, just to go back to the idea of subverting stuff and also about the characters being relatable, so combining both our points. I really love the 50 Shades of Grey thing they did with him. I hate you can't see the face I'm making. Hate that was it franchise? I don't know, it feels stupid to call it a franchise.
Series
movie, they're so bad.
Because it's book and film, so franchise.
And I loved the way they did it, and again it's so well crafted as a show that they are able to smooth things so perfectly, like the music that was playing when they went to the masked ball and just the whole kind of atmosphere and the way it was shot. It was just like you'd taken a scene from the 50 Shades of Grey movie. Yeah. And I love that they've completely ripped that apart and said, well, that's just totally fucking stupid. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And of course, he's got issues and he can't be so, like, emotionally cut off from everything and always be in a dominant role. And I think it's just brilliant that they've And I also loved, it's just a little thing, the joke that they made where he gives her the present of the dress and the underwear. Because when she opened it, I thought, that's not going to work. What? This show is normally so on it with, real women's body issues and stuff. And then they have her wear a different dress to say to him. That would have fitted a 12-year-old.
It's such a common trope, like a fantasy romance trope.
Yeah, it's a man buying
an outfit. And I hadn't thought about it before. There's like, they would have no idea.
Yeah. It would just not fit.
Yeah. Especially underwear.
How did she describe the underwear that he got her? Like floss and a tissue or something?
Yeah, like two tissues.
Which is true. I remember looking and thinking, oh, that's so pretty, but that's not going to work with those heavy boobs.
No, not them heavy boobs. Those are all my songs. I feel like we talked about every song now. Trying to come to the end of the songs. I had other questions.
Cool.
I kept writing down throughout the day. I was like, oh, this is something I want to talk about.
Shoot.
I will shoot. I was thinking with how the show was originally supposed to be on, like it was pitched to Showtime, and they originally did the pilot for that. And then it wasn't picked up, and it was eventually picked up on the CW, that they had to change a lot in terms of how much they're allowed to get away with censorship-wise, which is why I guess they have like the explicit versions of songs on YouTube, and then they have the radio-friendly. They're probably not radio-friendly. It's surprising how much they do get away with the swearingless versions that are actually in the show, and whether I would have preferred I'd have preferred them to be able to get away with more, because originally when I watched the first series of the show and then I listened to the songs on YouTube and I found that there were explicit versions, I thought, the show would have been even better if they were allowed to do whatever they wanted, specifically with another of my favourite songs. There's always songs. The I'm a Good Person song.
Right, yeah.
Because I feel like the explicit version is just so much better than the clean version. But it's also the only song that's really had lyrics changed. Because like the original, one of the line was, I'm a good person, and if you ask why, I'll spit my good right into your eye. Whereas the explicit one is, I'm a good person all over the place, I'll come my good right into your face. Yeah. Which I just feel like is so much funnier.
Yeah, it's so much more effective.
And it's so much more effective with the song. It's like the more crude the language is.
She's being so aggressive about the fact it's really horrible in your face, like, no, I'm a good person, damn it.
Yeah. And I think fuckwads is such a great word that they use in the explicit version. It's just not the same without it. But then I feel like because they've had to be so creative with how they word things, that it's actually made it a better show.
I think my favourite example of this is Sex with a Stranger.
Yeah, it's about the balls.
The thing about the balls.
Yes.
Where they were told you can't have a line
unless you show the balls.
So he's got these, like, are they tennis balls? What are they?
I think they're tennis balls.
Yeah. Oh, your balls smell weird. Your balls smell so much worse than I feared. It's so ridiculous. It makes it so much more absurd, which makes the joke so much funnier. Because there's two different levels there, which just immediately gives them to laugh at.
And the where should we finish? Not on my chest.
I'm such a sucker for a good visual pun, so I loved that.
Yeah.
And I feel like as well that's one slightly less obvious. So you kind of might be like, I think it was like the second time I watched that song, I kind of thought, oh yeah. On the chest, great. I
think because they followed it with "not on my chest, you'll scratch it," because they had to add that to get away with the line.
Yeah.
So it makes it less obvious. But they do manage to get away with, it seems like, pretty much everything. Because it's not the concepts, apparently, that's the problem. It's just the words. So a lot of the time when I listen to the explicit version of a song compared to the original, and I'll listen to one and then the other to be like, what exactly did they change? And it's usually just swearing. Yeah, so I actually feel like, this is just my internal debate with myself, that I feel like now that it's actually possibly a better show. We'll never know.
It's made them be more, more creative.
I really like their creative pun. Because I feel like if it was full of swear words all the time, that might be too much. Which it's, from what I've heard of like what the pilot was, it seems like there was quite a lot of swearing in it originally. I'd like a middle ground. Like, I think they should be able to say shit every now and then. That should be fine.
Yeah, like
the odd fuck. It's fine.
I know what you mean. I think sometimes it can
like, because there's an explicit version of I Go to the Zoo, and it's got a couple of fucks in it that weren't in the one that aired.
I need to listen to that.
And it's such a small change, but it's weird to say it makes the song better, but it does.
Well, because
it's much more true to the genre that it's a parody of.
Exactly, and I think you're right. I think you do.
Which is why it works so well with I'm a Good Person as well.
You need the kind of full effect of the occasional swear in there, but don't rely on it too heavily.
Yeah, we've puzzled that one out.
Good for us.
My other questions. These are just two little things that. While I've been thinking about this all day. While I was thinking about this today, I was thinking about how to recommend the show to people.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I normally just start sending them links,
videos,
and then
that's what I've done.
I've sent them too many.
It seems like you've had more success. How many people have you got to watch the show?
One.
Yeah, okay, that's the same as me. I got you. You're my only success.
One, and I don't think she's finished it yet. She's very busy. She works long hours, this friend of mine, and she doesn't always have time to watch TV, so she watched the first couple, I think, and she was like, no, I'm into it, but just hasn't had time to watch the rest of it.
I recommend it to literally everyone.
I got my sister,
like strangers, people I've just met, and I'm like, you need to watch this show.
This week I recommended it to 3 separate people in my office.
Just everyone.
Literally
apart from you, no one has watched it yet, even though I know people who like this would be perfect for.
Exactly. And it's such a hard sell. Like, I was saying to this guy at my work, and he was like, I made some reference about musical theatre, because again, we're just going back to my issues. I need to relate everything. And I was making a joke about how, because there's 2 teams in our office, and I said, we're going to be like West Side Story, and we'll be fighting each other. And I was making all these West Side Story references, and this guy was at my work was like, I'm not that familiar with West Side Story. I'm sorry, I can't join in on this. I'm just alienating people by making references. And I was like, oh no, well, I visualise my life as a series of musical numbers. Speaking of which, have you seen this TV series, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend? And he was like, no. And
it's
I think
on
the way
Netflix,
I described it, I was like, it's a musical comedy about a human disaster's descent into madness. Which sounds like, why on earth would I watch that?
Yeah.
It's tough. And I got my sister to watch it with me, the first episode, and she didn't like it. And I feel like
fool.
I know, I was so bowled over. I couldn't believe that she wasn't that into it.
Yeah. But the feminism is another point. With like feminists, I know, is a good way of recommending the show. Because like, it's a feminist show. But it's difficult to convince them that it is. And even when they're watching it, another song that we haven't mentioned yet is the Put Yourself First.
Put Yourself First is a good one.
I think you nodded like you were already thinking of that song.
I knew you were going to say that before the words left your mouth.
Such a good song. But it perfectly embodies that, like, two different sides of a feminist idea of saying, yeah, you know, wear makeup for yourself and take it back from the patriarchy, but also being like, can we really take it back from the patriarchy?
Yeah, and it doesn't really have an answer.
No, there is no answer.
Saying, sometimes I feel like this doesn't always work. And the cameraman is wearing a t-shirt that says male gaze. I like that a lot. I think that's very true. Because
that's exactly how I feel about it. Like, I feel like women should definitely be able to enjoy wearing makeup and wearing nice things and being sexy and awesome. But then also, we like all those things because it's what men have said, this is how you should be. Yeah. And you can't get away from that.
It's we don't have the answer.
No. No one has the answer. Seemingly, this is one we can't puzzle out.
No, Rachel Bloom is as confused as us. So.
Yeah, everyone's confused. I feel like at the moment it's okay to just be confused. Like, just acknowledge. I can just acknowledge that this is a patriarchal structure and carry on with my life.
How they've been told they should behave.
Yeah, but it doesn't give you an answer. Yeah, and then my final question, which again comes from the many podcasts that I listen to, specifically about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, where they just go through episode by episode, is how people feel towards Josh.
Oh, can of worms. Right
I know, because now I worry that I'm too lenient on him in general. Because like my feelings fluctuate. Where with the podcast I listen to, particularly Crazy Ex-Girlfriend's podcast, shout out to them, who are my favourite Crazy Ex-Girlfriend podcast.
I listen to a few and I do like them a lot.
I always like wait for the next podcast episode to come out after each episode. Be like,
it's like having friends.
Yes, that's what podcasting is. Like, I can pretend I have friends. I have friends.
If you're listening to this podcast and you want to pretend that you're my friend, you're just my friend now.
Yeah. They have a very intense hatred of Josh. Which they've even, like, in the most recent podcast, they even addressed their hatred of Josh as maybe being too much. Because now I felt like I've been too lenient. Because, like, I genuinely felt bad for Josh when she wrote that article and all his friends hated him. Also, that's kind of on them.
And I know maybe that is harsh, but I think the thing about Josh is he's not necessarily that bad.
Yeah.
Like, he's not really done stuff that's bad. He's just so meh. He's so nothing, and he's...
Never takes responsibility.
For anything. He's a man-child.
Yeah.
And I'm not attacking him for not having, like, a successful career
or
kind of drive, but it's just the fact that everything added together. So that and the fact he's kind of boring. I don't really find him very funny, and it's the fact that he's done this, not he's personally done this, but the fact that Rebecca has messed up her life so much because of him. He is the cause of so much upset, and he's so makes me hate him so much. It's like, how do you have this power, which isn't really his fault, but it still makes me really hate him.
But he definitely enjoyed her attention in the first season in a way that kind of led her on without specifically leading her on.
Yeah, I think he is kind of, well, I think a lot of the characters like people you might know in real life, but he's very like guys in real life.
Because he isn't that bad,
it
makes him so much like people you know in real life.
Yeah, he's not that bad, but he is still going to let things happen when he maybe should shut them down. Yeah. And he's still going to
and never gets held accountable. Because he's not that bad, he never gets held accountable.
He's never held to account, and he's just kind of flip-flopping between women, and these women are fighting over him, and he's just kind of like, okay, I'll go out with you. I'm not really feeling it. I'll go out with you. I'm not really feeling this either. Relationship to relationship, just kind of, because why not? I think they need to have a girlfriend to feel.
I definitely know people like that. Yeah, like with the episode with the magazine article, I felt like that was really hard. I think it was that his friends immediately turned on him, which is more a problem with their friendship, I think.
Yeah.
If you think that in parallel with when everyone found out about Rebecca's past, and still supported her, even though like she tried to burn down someone's house.
That Rebecca is a better friend.
Yeah,
I mean, we see her doing
like
things.
That's like those are proper relationships.
We see her doing things for her friend. She tries to help Daryl. She helps Paula. I mean, she's definitely flawed, but she will. Yeah. And a lot of the time she won't get the need help. Like with Heather, she wasn't understanding in the past couple of episodes that Heather was needing help from her. But if she realises, she will try her best to help you. I think we don't really see Josh do that. We just see him look out for number one.
Yeah.
Like I like in the Greg's drinking song, another great song, obviously.
Yeah.
But I like that there's just a thing at the end where Josh is like, oh, good, Greg's not upset.
It's not my fault.
It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I think White Josh says to him, is it White Josh or is it...
It was probably White Josh. I'm not sure.
One of the friends says, again, not about you. Like, he was making... Greg, your friend is telling you that he's an alcoholic and he's going to change his life and it's this really big deal and you're like, oh, phew, I'm off the hook. Wrong. Yeah, I think he is quite self-centered, but he's not physically done a lot of stuff. He just is self-centered. Yes. And he just kind of lets things happen to him. Oh, I guess I'll break up with you now. Yeah. I guess I'll do this. He's not very active and he's not very committed to anything, whether that's people or ideas like joining the priesthood. I am actually annoyed at him for leaving.
Priest school.
Not priest school, yeah. As a Catholic, that's so annoying. It's a seminary. Call it a seminary. I thought that was a really interesting plot twist, actually. When at the end of, obviously, it was a great plot twist at the end of last season when we found out he was going to preschool, and I thought he'd be there for longer.
Yes,
not that he, which is
but he immediately bailed on it.
Right, he shouldn't be there because he would be a bad priest. Yeah, I just would find that a really interesting story.
He's the opposite of everything a priest should be.
Him being in the seminary.
Yeah,
and I think they did a good job of showing like why he's there, because he's just like, oh, that would be cool, I'll be important, and it'll give me some purpose in life. And then like, no, that's not why you should. And
I can run away from everything and never have to deal with it ever.
Exactly. That's what I think. I think he's irresponsible and he's self-centered and he's not particularly bad. He's just too much like people you might actually meet in real
I think
life.
that's the thing. It's the realness of it. It's the relatability.
Yeah, again,
but more relatable to people you know rather than yourself.
Yeah. We all know a Josh who just kind of flip-flops between girls and... Yeah. But I loved the British Josh that they had. What was his name?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what his name was. Fantastic. Once again, we don't know what characters' names are.
That is one of my all-time favourite tropes, is the character that's like a double for another character that's usually played by the same actor. That's hilarious to me.
When they did the thing in this episode... where they like tried to replace Rebecca, I thought they might do the same thing. I thought they were going to do the same thing. Because they did that whole reveal thing. That it's like, oh no, it's someone else. I think like she does do similar things though. She makes like comedy music videos.
Oh really?
On YouTube, I saw Rachel Bloom had tweeted one which I haven't watched yet.
That is cool.
Let's check those out. These are the sort of things that we should research before we start recording stuff.
Well, this is only our first one, so
yeah, it's not our fault. One of the things they really relate to with Heather was this whole I'm a student thing. Yes. I so miss being able to say that, even though it's not even a thing.
This is leading on to my...
That makes any sense.
If we're done with the Josh discussion, but my other question I had was, which character that's not Rebecca do you relate to most? And I think you kind of started talking about that with Heather.
Yeah. Because I've been trying... This is just something I naturally do with every show I watch. I try and work out who I'm most like. And with this, it's really difficult. I don't know if there's any one character. I think it would either be Rebecca or Heather. But then there's certain things that, because like all the sort of relationship stuff that I really don't relate to with Rebecca. And then with Heather, she doesn't really have, like, she's done every single course at community college, whereas I know a bit more about what I want to do. But there's also... I'm also split between, because like I know I want to do art stuff, but then I'm split between types of art and with painting and animation, and then just with filmmaking. Now I have a YouTube channel. I've started playing the ukulele. There's just tangents.
No, I definitely relate to that. Like, I did theology and religious studies at university. Yeah. I'm now working in a tech industry job, and I'm interested in writing. Yeah. I just have no...
tangents. Yeah.
It's just, everything's a tangent. There's just nothing. I need some focus, and I really miss being a student, because you don't have to know that stuff when you're a student.
I'm a student. So yeah, I feel like it is Heather who I relate to most.
There's a lot of it we kind of think we're the Heather, so like...
Yeah, I'm also... Like to think I'm concerned that I want to be Heather as well as thinking that I am Heather.
we all want to be Heather because you kind of picture yourself as in your friendship.
The voice of reason.
I'm the voice of reason. I don't talk that much, and when I do talk, I'm just saying something kind of cutting and devastating and really funny.
And really clever.
But I like, in the Friendtopia song, I think I'm more, just in terms of they class themselves as the brainy one, the sexy one, and the cool one. I think in that instance I would be Rebecca, because I'd be the brainy one. I'd be head of censorship and mind control.
Yeah. Who was Heather in that?
The cool one. She puts drugs in the water supply. And
yeah, I wouldn't be the cool one.
The sexy one, Tsar of torture.
Yeah.
So I think you could be the cool one. I can see you drugging the water supply.
At a push. If there was no one else, I could fill that role.
Head of censorship and mind control. Yeah. It's another great song. Again, another one where they just completely nailed the Spice Girls.
Yeah, the Spice Girls.
They were doing.
And I got that music reference. Yeah. So good. I feel like this throughout the whole podcast I've been going, so good.
It's great. That's our title.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're meant to be talking about. It's on topic to say it's good.
It is genuinely so good, though. It's one of the most interesting shows I've ever watched. I think it's the best thing I'm currently watching.
Yeah. But I feel like it's one of my favourite shows.
It's so different.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is so different and so interesting. I feel like it's this, BoJack Horseman, Adventure Time, and Twin Peaks, and The Prisoner.
Yeah, I feel like...
are like my top 5 TV shows. So much good stuff. Are those all our thoughts?
I think so. I'm just trying to think of my question, characters I relate to. And I think you're right. I think there's not one you can pick. I think I like Daryl a lot, but I don't know if that's I relate to him or I just find him really funny.
I feel like it's like a mix of Heather and Rebecca for both of us.
That's true. I do get Paula. You said you don't relate to Paula at all.
Yeah, I don't really relate to anything in Paula.
I think she's obviously meant to be more for like an older woman, housewife type person. I'm sure then you would relate to her and her struggles more. But I get it. I really like her song Maybe This Dream.
Yeah.
Just the idea of someone who's just been totally beaten down in life and every kind of dream they've had has kind of gone astray.
Yeah, I feel like and possibly it's just because I'm too young to relate to her at this point. It's more about having been beaten down over the course of your life.
Yeah.
You'll be singing that song as a Disney princess.
That was great.
I feel like that might be another reason I don't relate to Paula, is that she like this whole Disney like teen romance narrative kind of came from her, and that's something that I really don't understand. I'm never into any of that, and that she's like really into Twilight.
Yeah, so that maybe that is why I relate to Paula. I mean, she references things like in the West Community Reprise. She Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, Carrie and Big.
Yeah. She's such an enabler,
and she's the one making all these. She's doing a me, and she's putting, or I'm doing a Paula, perhaps. She's putting this,
she's doing a you.
This mold of movies and TV and stuff, and she's putting it onto her real life, because she kind of enables Rebecca, you're right, in the West Covina Reprise, and she says. And she lists off all these famous couples. And she says, no, you're going to be like that.
I might also be White Josh. It's like, in my head, I'm like Heather, making these witty, clever remarks, but really I'm White Josh, just judging people.
Distancing yourself and judging people.
Just being judgy.
Me. But I like that he's aware that he's judgy.
Yeah.
He says, my friends say I'm judgy, but they're stupid.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that he says.
Yeah. Whatever he says in therapy.
I relate to that sentence a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't even touched on some stuff like Rebecca's relationship with her mother.
Yeah.
Naomi's a great character.
Yeah, which they went into more in this most recent
Where's
episode.
the Bathroom is a great song.
Yes.
And Remember That We Suffered.
Oh, I forgot about Remember That We Suffered. That's another of my favourite songs.
Well, maybe we could do a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, like when the show is finished, we can do a revisited. Yeah, I feel like this is a good place to end. This has been our first foray into podcasting.
If we liked this format, if we're going to do it again.
Yeah, which is what all the cool kids are doing now. Get a podcast.
If we should do.
They should do it. Like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend should do a song about getting a podcast.
Getting a podcast. I saw Billy Bragg in concert the other day, and he made a joke about podcasts. He was like, "Oh, everyone's got a podcast now." Like, oh, I'm going to.
Yeah. Soon that will apply to me.
Me too. Yeah, we need to think about if we liked this format when we both knew the thing that we're discussing, or if it would work better if we.
We've talked about one of us picking something that the other hadn't seen before.
If that would be more interesting, or if this, because in this we had a lot to talk about, but
we both just really love this show so much.
Maybe a mix.
Yeah. We could switch it up. I feel like there's going to be some stuff that we've both seen.
Yeah, and how obscure are we going as well? I mean, what are we sticking to just one media? Or?
I feel like we can. I'm not good at commitment in any form. I've just got commitment issues.
Me neither. So,
which is why I never committed on the YouTube channel to one specific media, even though it's mostly film. I felt like we could talk about anything. At some point, I really like socks. At some point, I might talk about socks.
Just be Grace's sock collection,
yes,
which is great for a podcast when you can't see.
I will describe in detail all of my socks.
Making appreciative noises.
Yeah, I'm wearing bat socks at the moment.
They're very cool socks.
Yeah,
I must say, it's a shame no one can see them.
They're fluffy and they've got bats on them.
We can put it on the list. I mean, I'm not saying no one can make it.
Grace's weird ideas. Socks.
Probably talking about my nails.
Nails. What's your socks? It's nails. Hair.
Yeah, I'm quite into hair.
Nails and hair. I think it'll probably mostly be TV and film.
Yeah.
But like we could do books and music.
Yeah, I've had a couple of books.
Stuff like that.
We could do
games. Many things.
You'll have to fill me in on the games. That would be one of the ones where I have no idea what you're talking about. You have to explain it to me.
I'm not a big gaming
Animal
person.
Crossing is my only game.
Sims.
Yeah, Animal Crossing and The Sims. That's my gaming know-how.
We'll see how it goes. I'm excited. We're at the birth of something.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, that no one's going to listen to. It's going to be us shouting into the void.
I hope this was...
Yeah, I hope
okay.
Someone somewhere has reached this point. Thank you. A sincere thanks. We love all of you and you are our friends now.
Yeah.
And
whether
you have
wanted
no
to
say.
Or not,
yeah.
whether you listen to this whole thing, like, who are these crazy, annoying people? Too late, we're friends.
Yeah. You can't get out of it now. Thus concludes our first episode.
I hope you liked it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
See you next time.
Farewell.